is 11:14 and Steve Budin is here for our financial focus right now. We got 3 topics to go over that could affect us. And the first one we're talking about is Puerto Rico. Now, they've defaulted on their loans, but I'm thinking, okay, well, how does that affect me?
Right. It affects a lot of folks potentially. Puerto Rico is not an American state. They're a territory. But there's a lot of Americans who invested in their bonds,
right.
Pension funds, retirees, and today Puerto Rico missed an interest payment. They're in desperate financial shape down there, and there's really no precedent about what to do. Puerto Rico wants to have the ability to be like Detroit and file bankruptcy, but there's really no law that allows them to do that because they're not a state. So this will be an interesting development going forward. Who's going to get screwed here? Is it going to be the pension funds, the bondholders? The Puerto Rico president basically came out and said, I either had to pay my teachers or pay my bondholders, and he chose the Puerto Rican citizens.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
When it comes to Small Business Week is here, and so many people, especially in Las Vegas, I know so many small business owners, and they struggle. Sometimes they do really well. Sometimes they struggle, but they try to keep going.
Yeah, and there's over 25 million small businesses across the country. So whenever we mention, big corporate America, and we're going to talk about Starbucks in a minute, there's 10 local coffee places, right, that are small, trying to become big companies. But so this week, the Small Business Administration is asking us to support your small business. And I kind of like this idea because the small business owners, they're your neighbors. They're the ones whose kids play soccer with your kids. They're the ones who pay the local taxes. So it's good to maybe pop in and try a local business here and there.
Well, and it's, how many times do you go on vacation and you say, well, I want to try some of the local spots, because there's just something different about it, They're popular.
And that's why I think some of these websites like Yelp really help, because you go down to a new city and you're going to say, I don't want to try the generic chain restaurant. I want to try the local business. And we do that. My family does it all the time. I love supporting local business.
Yeah, and you go and you do the price. And I know sometimes, I think it was even my American Express was saying, if you use your card on this day at a local business, you'll get a percentage back more than normal or whatever, or a donation or something like that, which is cool. So it's like everyone's coming together.
Yeah, and a vast majority of Americans work for small business, so it's important to support them.
Definitely. All right, let's talk about this Starbucks lawsuit. Sometimes you go, okay, I remember the whole hot coffee thing with McDonald's, and that made sense. But now we've got a woman that's suing Starbucks for what?
Yes, this is, again, the society we're living in.
Yeah.
Crazy lawsuits. A woman is suing Starbucks for $5 million because she claims too much ice was put in her cold drink.
Right.
Now, I like Starbucks' response where they said, you buy a drink, you expect there to be ice in the drink.
Sure.
Her lawsuit basically says what Starbucks is advertising is the size of the cup, not the size of the drink, and this is crazy.
Okay. So now, I mean, like, what if she wins this thing? It's going to set a whole new, everyone's going to start suing.
What's next? The muffins aren't big enough or whatever. But what's interesting here is they're trying to file a class action suit. So I think anybody who bought a Frappuccino in the last 5 years, whatever the parameters are, how are you going to prove that? Like, who saves their Starbucks receipts? Right. I think this is a publicity stunt by a couple of people in Chicago. But it's what corporate America has to deal with. I'd rather see them take the money and devote it to developing new drinks. But instead, they have to fight off stuff like this.
Okay. Interesting. Steve Budin, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Stay with us. We're back after this.